Hello, this is Julie Kay with a Junk Journal Share. This is one of my first junk journals. I did two, kind of worked on two simultaneously. When I got tired of one, I worked on the other one. This one is more of a vintage theme, and I just did a video on the other one, which is a butterfly themed. But this video is for this one. I did use the ring method to bind it. I attached fibers on the side. I did make a very chunky charm. And again, the rule that I had for when I was making these two journals was I had to only use stuff I had in my stash. I couldn't go out and buy anything. And I used, it was one of Tim Holtz. I'm not quite sure what it's called, but it just flips into there to close. And I'll set it aside and put it back on after the end. I did cut out with a die cut, and this image came from Pinterest. This was a piece of lace from my stash. This was from Spellbinders, the fleur-de-lis old vintage button. I stamped the word journal, put this frame around it, and adhered some flowers in the corner. And my closure is just some fibers that I wrapped around the button. On the back side, I just held them in through an eyelet. First page is just a little pocket. And I just have a little journal card, and on the back side I just wrote her a little note. This first page is scrapbooking paper that has lines on it so she can journal on it. Again, my idea was to just go through my whole stash and find anything somewhat vintage that had a vintage feel, and I put it in here. I did print off a few things online from Pinterest and also from Ephemera's Vintage Garden. She gives away a lot of freebies, so if you haven't checked out her blog or her Etsy shop, it's worth it. She also has a Facebook group. On these papers, I did distress them with Tim Holtz's Distress ink, the daubers, and also the sprays. I stamped in the corner. That's a magenta stamp, and I also stamped at the top. I made this paper clip with a charm and some fibers, and I cut out the word heart from a book. This is a stamp that I adhered onto that I colored. This background piece of paper is from an old copy ledger. It was written probably in the early 1900s. It's in a different language. I'm not quite sure what it is, but it was really brittle, so that's why I adhered it down. I put a little butterfly punch up at the top. Made some pockets and just stamped the word special moments, and it's just paper, lined paper that I stuck in there. Some more of that ledger paper, and I stamped that image over it. Stamped at the bottom. This is more of the distressed paper. I wanted to see if I could kind of make it look old and vintage without coffee dyeing. Stamped again at the top, and this is a stencil that I used. It's a pretty piece of paper. We both like fleur-de-lis, and this is Italian fleur-de-lis paper, so I decided to share it with her. She can always take it out and use it on a card if she wants. Some more pretty vintage paper. This image I got off of Pinterest. She loves Paris and has been there, so I wanted to make sure I included a couple things from Paris or were French themed along with the vintage stuff. Side pocket, some more ephemera from Ephemera's Vintage Garden. This paper is really old. I walnut stained it probably about 18 years ago. Still had it in my stash, so decided to use it. I have a few pieces of that in here, and that was part of the staining process, but it's almost pink. I don't think that shows up on the camera very well. It's more of the distress stain paper with stamping on it. Here's a little interactive part of the book. So here's a corner tuck spot on this piece of paper. This came from, it's a Marianne design die. But this opens up. There's a pocket on the back side of it, and then it also, once it's open, it flips out, and there's 2 spots for tags that I made, and I stamped on the bottom of them. And then also up here, this, yeah, that's part of that page, so they pull out. It's more of that distress stain paper with the stenciling on it. Some more sayings, stamping in the corner. I made a little bookmark. This was spray from Lindy's Stamp Game that I cut out and then stamped the image on it. It's mostly brown with some purple sparkles in it. Really pretty. This image was from a book that I cut out to make it into the pocket, and I stamped the word beauty at the bottom. Tuck here on the side. She'd given me some of her dies that she'd cut out, so I included one of them in here. Some journaling spots. This was a stamp from Close to My Heart. I made the library cards. Kind of nice. And then some tags that I made about 10-15 years ago with stamping from a company called PSX that no longer exists. Pocket on the side, I stamped the word wonder. Some more ephemera from Ephemera's Vintage Garden, journaling spots. Another pocket on the other side. This little envelope also is from Ephemera's Vintage Garden. I just included just a couple little things I got off of the internet. You can journal on the back or use on cards. This one's actually kind of fun too and a little interactive. This is on acetate, and I die cut this die twice. I did it on the front and the back side of it. So it creates a little window. And the die is a Creative Expressions die from Sue Wilson. So it creates a little window. There's a vintage image of a couple kissing. I stamped up at the top, and it opens up with some journaling cards. And then another saying from a quote that I have. This was scrapbooking paper, and I just chose to stamp images up at the top and the bottom. Some more ephemera from Ephemera's Vintage Garden, and this I know came from the French Rose collection, and I just kept that word off of the piece of paper and cut it with a decal scissors and distressed it around the edges and adhered it on with some lace at the bottom. I stamped the word Paris, some lace at the top. There's that, and this is a die cut also from Marianne Designs, and I do have that here. Makes a really nice pocket, and it's really pretty too as an edge on a card. So if you're into making cards, it's a really nice die. Little pocket. An image of a really pretty lady that I found on Pinterest. An envelope I made. Coin envelope I made, and I just stuck some journaling cards in it that I stamped on. Just with some random older looking images, I guess. Just a blank page. Another couple blank pages. Again, just a distress ink. I made a banner and adhered some fibers and some flowers with the brad. It's a tuck spot, so Here's some more of that walnut stained paper that I stamped at the bottom. Some more of the distressed ink paper. Another paper clip I made and attached some more ephemera. Journaling card. A banner, tuck spot. I attached a gold envelope that was really pretty. This is some paper lace, and I included more of that fleur-de-lis Italian paper inside of it. Just a rosette. When you flip it, I made a belly band out of it. Some more journaling spots and ephemera. Some more of the distressed paper. It's light enough so if she wants to journal on it, she can. Here's a double triangle pocket, and I stamped at the bottom of each of the tags. And just stick into the pockets. I did put a little flower and a piece of ephemera that came from some cardstock. A triangle pocket, but higher up with a long, big tag. A clear bag that I cut the top off of because it was quite a bit longer. I made this little booklet to go in it. Just folds out with some journaling spots. Some more walnut stained paper. I stamped at the bottom. Corner pocket. I stamped, and I also stamped on the background all those images. There was a lighter pink paper. The brown was on the paper that you can see behind there, and I stamped the crowns and the red words. Another paper, a flower I made for the top. Side pocket, and there's a little tuck spot for something small there. Another tuck spot. Corner pocket. And this pulls out, and then you can journal behind this piece, and it also flips open. Little spot to journal, and then a little card in there. Another corner pocket. This one's interactive too. This flips up. I just attached it with a brad. Up here it's a pocket, so you can pull this out. Photo came off of Pinterest, and then it flips down, and I just stamped the word serendipity. Just make the book a little more interactive. Tuck spot with the image that I got off of Pinterest. An image of a lady and a gentleman painting. She used to be an oil artist, so when I saw this image I had to include it. And this is a poppy die, poppy stamps die, double corner. Another pocket at the bottom, but this was made by one of the Marianne Creatable dies again, with some images from Pinterest, some vintage looking scrapbooking paper. I put some washi tape on it. Another image off of Pinterest. More of the distress stained paper. Up here I made banners and stamped some words on the top of them. She can write a little date or note there, and the paper is light enough so that she can write on that too. An image I cut out of a book, and up here is a tuck spot with some ephemera. It didn't stay in very well, so I did put a little paper clip there. Some more of that walnut stained paper. I actually got a little blue down there. I'm not quite sure why. But, paper clip I made. And then it's a tuck spot. The last page, just a pretty piece of paper. I stuck some paper lace down there, and then also on the inside, or the back inside cover. See the covers. The paper was from Penny Black. I did do some embossing on it with using the Ranger clear texture gloss paint, or texture gloss paste. I did it on the front too. I'm not quite sure. Just around the edges. I'm not sure if it shows very well on the camera. But hopefully you like, and thanks for watching my video, and give me a thumbs up if you like. Thank you.